MCL, the word in your home.
Good morning, and this is the Monday edition of your number one breakfast program on TV, Good Morning Abia. Coming to you live from our live studio here in Abia, the city of Abia State. My name is Michael Ofonia, and of course I have Stella Wando with me this morning. Stella, good morning. It's nice to have you here on the breakfast program. Miss Smiley.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Thanks for having me, and of course, good morning, Abes. Thanks for joining us on today's Good Morning, Abia, your much stuff breakfast show on MCLtv. We urge you to sit glued to your television set.
Tick, the clock is counting down, and of course, it is 20 days you and I will be heading to the polls. And of course, the question we always point out to you every morning to keep you abreast of the situation is, how ready are you? Stella, as if it was not going to come to an end, and today is 20 days, Nigerians will be heading to the polls. How ready?
Actually, if you ask me, I'll say that Nigerians are really looking at what is happening in the country right now, and of course how educated people are, and media has also contributed in letting people know the importance of going out there to vote. I tell you, Nigerians are ready, and of course one of the reports we brought to a viewer out there from Omahia, where one of our reporter actually paid a visit to some, INEC local government offices where the distribution of PVCs are going on. He also reported that people are really, showing interest, eager, to collect their PVC. That is to also tell you that Nigerians are really eager to vote come 2019, come February, and of course in March.
All right, I've been called to make a serious correction. Our sincere apologies. 19 days to go. And thank you, the director, for putting me back on course. 19 days, forward ever, it's backward never. We're ready, if you ask me. And of course, your darling TV station, MCLtv, will be giving you all the activities happening in the 17 local government. It's our responsibility and our duty to tell you what is happening. Of course, we tagged as election monitor. We'll be monitoring. And of course, once you cast your votes and your vote is being counted, go back to your living room, and of course it is we bringing the world to your home, and we'll tell you all that is happening. in Abia State. Take it from us. Stella.
Yeah.
19 days, and of course, Abians, Nigeria, is ready to cast votes. And of course, you and I know that Abia State has 1,900,000 and something people to vote to any government that they think will take them to the promised land. Looking at all that is transpired, all that has transpired, do you feel comfortable with what is happening?
I don't actually feel comfortable with what is happening in the country right now.
Where precisely you don't feel very comfortable?
You know, let me actually talk about the one that is actually in the front burner, talking about the suspension of the CJ, and where we had our legal practitioners talked about it here. And of course, you know, like not only, APC actually alleged that it's only PDP that is faulted the suspension, but when you listen to the news, and of course from some quarters, you will also know that a lot of people are actually condemning the suspension of the CJN. And of course, the police, they are there. The new IGP is actually doing something to make sure that he brings security to where it's supposed to be, and of course to also put one or two things in place to make sure that we'll have a hitch-free election. And of course, the INEC boss has also come out to tell us that the INEC is also ready to conduct the election. So the only thing I'm not actually comfortable is some of the reactions that are actually trailing the suspension of the CJ and Chief Justice of Nigeria, because a lot of people have actually said that it is a wrong step, yes, taken by the presidency.
Okay, is it the wrong step? Because this morning that's also going to be part of a discussion where we have a political analyst to take a look and tell us their opinions on what the law says concerning the suspension of the CJ. So we'll ask you to please stay with us when it gets to the discussion segment, so you can also see what the law says and how the president has been able to perform his duty. All right, that's going to be our discussion. But quickly, let's go to the words of marble this morning. The words of marbles are the words that suppose you and I to be a better person. And the words of marble this morning comes up with this:
let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. I'll take it again. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for smile is the beginning of love.
Well, I can see why you're smiling. It seems you had seen the words of marble before you actually came in this morning, because I saw you talking to the director backstage, and so you've already seen what the words of marble this morning is, and so that's why you came with a smile. It said, let us start our day smiling, because that is the beginning of love. It is good when you get to see your colleague in the morning, people in the morning, those who are going to attend to your customers. The first thing to do is, even before you say good morning, let the smile open up the way. I wish I would learn how to do that. All right, thank you, Stella. Quickly, it's back to you again to tell us what is making rounds in the world of news.
And of course, to the news this morning, a total of 649.198 billion naira has been distributed as federal allocation for month of December 2018 between the federal government and state governments and local government councils. This was contained in a statement at the weekend by Oises D. Johnson, Head Press and Public Relations Officer of the Accountant General of the Federation, or AGF. He noted that the communique issued by the Technical Subcommittee of Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FASC, indicated that the gross statutory revenue received is 547.462 billion naira, which is lower than the 649.629 billion naira received in the previous months by 102.167 billion naira. As part of his efforts to ensure transparency and build confidence in the February 16th presidential election, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has vowed to solely man the Results Collation Center, stressing that he will not share his constitutional responsibility as the chairman of the Collation Secretariat with anybody. The INEC boss was also said to have raised the alarm over what he described as the increasing violence tendencies by politicians and youths who could be used by politicians to carry out nefarious activities, saying that the elections might be disrupted if the security agencies refuse or fail to carry out their jobs in line with INEC specifications. This is coming as the electoral body has also decided to allow members of the accredited civil society groups, local and international election observers, and the media access its Situation Room. The Situation Room is a center where all results from all states for the presidential election are counted and collected before they are finally announced. There has been pressure on INEC to grant international and local observers access to its Situation Room during the elections, especially with President Muhammadu Buhari's refusal to assent the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. It was canvassed that it will make the election transparent and makes the results they will declare believable. A meanwhile, collection of permanent voter card PVCs has intensified in Umuahia with less than a month to the 2019 general elections. Our correspondent Emmanuel Mansui visited local government offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC in Umuahia. He reports that people are now showing the willingness to exercise their franchise. The report.
There have been media sensitizations about the litany of uncollected permanent voter cards, PVCs, lying fallow at various offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, nationwide. The sensitizations are seemingly paying off, as the collection of PVCs is seriously gaining momentum, especially with less than 1 month to the much talked about 2019 general elections. At the Umuahia North local government office of INEC, people are seen making frantic efforts to have theirs. Some who successfully got theirs or have the hope of getting theirs speak to MCL News.
What did it take you to get it? Was it too difficult?
No, not at all. It was easy.
This respondent was, however, not successful, as his disappointment to the fact that he will not be voting at all in the elections could not be hidden. He is a victim of double registration. From afar, the Umuahia South local government office of the commission looked deserted, but right inside there, the business of sorting and collection of PVCs was actively going on. One of the officials of the commission, Mr. Marachuku Jeremiah, says the level of response from the electorate is more encouraging this time than it was in 2015. Some of the respondents used the opportunity to call on the people who are yet to collect their PVCs to get theirs while the time lasts.
It's a very easy thing. You guys should just come and get the PVC so that you can be able to vote.
Though the turnout for PVC collections is said to be encouraging this year, many PVCs are yet to be collected and people are encouraged to go get their permanent voter cards before the 8th of February 2019, when the exercise will come to an end. Emmanuel Mazwe, MCL News.
Abia governorship candidates have started their mission in gunning for the #1 position in the state. This was at a debate organized by the Igbo service of the British Broadcasting Corporation, otherwise known as BBC Igbo, in Umuahia. Emmanuel Mazwe reports that the debate featured candidates of the Accord Party, ABGA, SDP, and YPP, while those of the APC and PDP were absent. The report.
The conference hall of the Hotel Royal Dungreat, venue of the debate, was filled to capacity with people drawn from the media, labor and civil society organizations. They gathered at the instance of the BBC Igbo to have first-hand information on what those jostling to occupy the government house in Umuahia intend to do to earn their votes. The exercise was conducted in Igbo language, and one after another, the candidates rolled out their plans from agriculture, education, infrastructure to commerce.
I enjoy agriculture, as energy generated on there are industrialization, and also we are about to open, we intend to open vocational schools. I develop vocational school. Now they know, and also now what I don't want from university. Now I have to run in paper. Well, I believe right now even when I got a couple to actually there. Like it got it for we got also how Chabia or Pali, we got that number. I have a case of the Mama. Never well. We got grants, this will go. They got that support. And all the kids in the end of that's how it is in Abia. So all the one go to get
the candidates also fielded questions from participants in different fields of the state's economy.
Through the community leaders and the agents, and share security at the state time. Business through our venture capital. We need us also to come and state. But why can't you have June education? In my personal education, some of the things I do in education is obsolete. We are going to embark on the talent hunt. I got to do more behind. In my year, and sports. We get new opportunity. When I am on the stadium, I was see where sports stadium. Now, I had that.
SDP government in Abia State, they will show their accountability. They pay industries, pay agriculture, and then some other resources. Now they are putting on 50,000 for what I do. If they do not deposit, they will 50,000. They will also give us sports. I do not give a competition from one local government to another.
Instead of everybody,
Those who made themselves available for the debate included Blessing Wagba of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Ngozi Chinkoro of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, Alex Oti of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, and Emeka Wakolam of the Accord Party. However, Okezi Basa of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Uche Oga of the All Progressives Congress, APC, were conspicuously absent. Emmanuel Mazwe, MCL News.
The Senate leadership yesterday summoned members for an emergency session on Tuesday to deliberate on the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Justice Walter Onobin. Senate President Bukola Saraki, who initiated the emergency section, is scheduled to meet with other Senate officials later today ahead of the Tuesday deliberation. Details of the emergency sitting were sketchy at first time, but a source close to the office of the Senate President said that publication for the sitting may be made today, Monday. The source said the leadership meeting is to clear the way for the emergency sitting. The Senate President is also said to have reached out to senators to return to Abuja for this all-important emergency sitting in the interest of democracy in Nigeria. It was gathered that the clerk to the National Assembly, Mohammed Sani, is expected to announce the emergency sitting to members. The Senate had adjourned only last Thursday till February 19, 2019. Saraki has already condemned the suspension of Onobin, describing it as a coup against democracy. That's much you can take on today's news segment. You're still watching Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCLtv. We'll go for a break. When we come back, more news updates will be coming your way, but that will be on our newspaper review. Please stay with us.
Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Another political season is here.
The storm of partisan politics has thrown up numerous candidates.
Who can best represent the people?
Abia Media Roundtable presents Political Debates 2019 for governorship and National Assembly candidates.
Let the best candidates emerge through fair debates on relevant issues. Abia Media Roundtable.
Fairness and integrity.
2019 Abia Political Debates.
Date: 4th February for National Assembly candidates, 21st February for governorship candidates. Venue: Bines Hotel, Habat Macaulay Hall, Aba. For more information, call 080-5483-3026, 080-3669-3622, or 080-3300-3566. This program is proudly brought to you by ACT-TV, BCA, Boss FM, Flow FM, Magic FM, MCLtv, NTA Channel 6 Aba, PBS, Pessetter FM, Love FM, Vision Africa, and Ibere Online TV.
Are you a plumber? Do you have 3 years experience in the job? Do you have good experience in store management and purchase? Then quickly apply to the management and Etona Hotel at number 6 Margaret Avenue, GRA, Aba, Abia State.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world where people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, they go talk. Wetin make we do for this world? I say make we dey do the things wey we carry for heart. Na so world want am. Abi no be so?
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCLtv.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Another political season is here.
The storm of partisan politics has thrown up numerous candidates.
Who can best represent the people?
Abia Media Roundtable presents Political Debates 2019 for governorship and National Assembly candidates.
Let the best candidates emerge through fair debates on relevant issues. Abia Media Roundtable.
Fairness and integrity.
2019 Abia Political Debates.
Date: 4th February for National Assembly candidates, 21st February for governorship candidates. Venue: Bines Hotel, Herbert Macaulay Hall, Aba. For more information, call 080-5483-3026, 080-3669-3622, or 080-3300-3566. This program is proudly brought to you by ActTV, BCA, Boss FM, Flow FM, Magic FM, MCLtv, NTA Channel 6 Aba, PBS, Pacesetter FM, Love FM, Vision Africa, and Ibere Online TV.
Good morning and you're welcome back. And if you're just joining us, this is still Good Morning Abia, your number one breakfast program on TV, coming to you live from our Abia studio here in the city of Abia in Abia State. And of course, it's time for us to take a look at the papers. And of course, we have 3 papers on our desk this morning, starting with the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun at the right top corner of the paper comes up with finally IGP at the Moon retires 7 DIGs and AIGs, and that can be found on page 11 of the paper. And the big bold headline from the paper this morning is the CJN Honore suspension, the big fight. PDP APC square in NAS as NJC NBA Senate meets. US and UK and EU misinformed, says the presidency. And that could be found on page 6 and page 44 of the paper. And of course, if you're wondering, those 3 men, what are those 3 picture elements talking about? The people you could see right there, the picture this morning. It is Governor Yimsa Wike of Rivers State, second right. The People's Democratic Party PDP candidate for Rivers State Southeast Senatorial District, talking about Barry Mpigi. And of course, is right. And the former Oyibo local government area chairman and former APC leader Uche Felix YK, second left, and Elder Austin Wako during the defection of YK to PDP in Oyibo. All right, defection, and of course, just to tell you, bring you up to speed that 19 days left, you and I will be heading to the polls. And quickly, underneath that is federal government uncovered 66 illegal universities, 68 police and orders, and that could be found on page 39 of the paper. And the military exposed Boko Haram's new tactics, and that could be found on page 4. Quickly to tell you that elections, we are not supporting any candidate. US states to say, look, we're not behind any candidates. We're just going to watch Nigerians vote and pray it comes out successful. And of course, if you need to read more of that, go to page 40 of the paper. US, we are not supporting any candidates. US states. And of course, the public forum this morning is coming from Echezona Okechi. And of course, it says Ohaneze, Zik, and Indebo. All right, Stella, it's back to you.
Okay, and of course, to the Nation newspaper this morning. At the top left of Nation newspaper, INEC excludes Zakari, all the RACs from result collection, is found on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And underneath that, on the fire over articles endorsement. You can get it on page 6 of the Nation. Now closer to that, at the top right there, it says deadline for illegal firearms holders. Deadline for illegal firearms holders is found on page 5 of the Nation. Lulu Briggs is a joker, says PDP. Go to page 39 and know why they said that. Mikel hungry for achievements, that's on sports. Get the story on page 47 of the Nation. Government kill policeman in Edo is found on page 5 of the Nation. Moving down, and of course inside it says Silva received PDP defectors. Go to page 4 and read up the story. And of course, in Abia State here it says Otis Ogas Kingsmen back Ibazo. I'll take it again. Otis Ogas Kingsmen back Okize Ibazo is found on page 10 of the Nation newspaper. And the boldly written headline there says Onogen NJC members a move to save judiciary. Onogen NJC members a move to save judiciary. And the write-up following that, the first one says Judicial Council meets tomorrow, conducts tribunal verdicts today. Activists, CJN should step aside. Read up the story on page 41, and of course you see the picture element of acting CJN, Justice Mohammed, and of course the suspended Justice Onowen. Underneath that, let me read out some section 231, subsection 4 of the Constitution. It says if the office of Chief Justice of Nigeria is vacant, or if the person holding the office is for any reason unable to perform the functions of the office, then until the person has been appointed to and has assumed the functions of that office, or until the person holding the office has resumed those functions, the President shall appoint the most senior justice of the Supreme Court to perform those functions. And of course, read up the full story, like I told you, on pages 7 and 41 of the Nation newspaper. Closer to the picture element at the right there, it says minimum wage labor test case to public hearing is found on page 6 of the Nation. IG retires 7 DIGs. Read up the story on page 41 of the Nation. Moving down, government directs NUC, NCCE, MBTE to crack down on 16 illegal universities and 68 polytechnics. It's found on page 8 of the Nation. Now we'll move straight up to the back page of the Nation newspaper. Comment and debate, and of course it's coming from Sam Omaseye in touch. He says, misery, oh misery. I'm still talking about the suspension of Justice Onowen. And of course, let me read out something that is coming down from the headline there. He says, Onowen admitted he did wrong and he still wants to remain as the chief judicial officer in the land. No pastor worth his anointing or imam worth his Quran or babalawo worthy of his bed can defend that. Read up the story at the back page of the Nation. Like OBJ, like Onowen. Like OBJ, like Onowen is at the back page there. Moving down on hardball, not a man of honor. Not a man of honor is on hardball. To the Peoples, just to spice up your day, it says housewife threatens to poison husband if court fails to divorce them. Says news. And the response there said, devil at work. Yeah, actually, devil at work. That is it with the Nation newspaper, Michael.
All right, and of course, the next paper on our desk this morning, which is the final paper, it's coming from the New Telegraph. And the New Telegraph at the top of the paper comes up, we will tackle Lagos traffic. We will tackle Lagos traffic, and it's coming from the APC candidates and other candidates, because Lagos is a traffic-prone area, and so all the candidates are already thinking ahead. And this morning, how we will tackle Lagos traffic by Sanwo-Olu, Agbaje, and Badamasi. And of course, let's quickly take you to the big, bold headlines coming from the paper this morning. NJC decides on Lagos fate. Someone's emergency meeting for Tuesday, and the CJN's council were shocked by the turn of events. And Falana, the Senate should demand review of the CJN suspension. Atiku Adebanjo, TMG Senators Rep, carpet president. And of course, if you're wondering, what are those 4 or 5 ladies doing? Of course, they have the puda, and that is the Muslim veil that covers the face of the woman. And this morning, the 5 women with puda is also showing the support for the APC Senate candidate, talking about Oriu Lowo. Okay, quickly underneath that is federal government to blacklist AMCO, that's AMCON's debtor, over 5 trillion naira. And of course, 12,000 non-performing loans acquired. Agency recovers 1 trillion. That could be found on page 8 of the paper. And quickly, let's take you to the back page of the New Telegraph. And guess who the columnist is this morning? It's no other person than the President Muhammadu Buhari. And he's giving the reasons why I suspended Onohe as the CJN. Of course, you want to keep your time with us this morning. Why Stella and I and all the guests are the guests talking about our political analysts will be here to share the light on if the president actually did the right thing by suspending the CJN. Of course, you and I know this has been what is on almost all the social medias, papers, newspapers, also talking about radio and TV station, and of course that is what will be our discussion for today. But Stella, you and I know that some people believe that the president has acted in the right direction, while also some has faulted based on the constitution that the president should have also set these for the Senate. And if 2/3 of the Senate agrees to the president, then of course that would have been a green light to go ahead. But the president, they said, took a solemn decision, and the president is saying this morning that, look, I never took that decision. I am telling Nigerians, it wasn't my decision. He said, and I'm going to read what the president said. Please, we'll take a break, and when we come back from the break, the program continues. Please, just stay with us.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Yeah, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, still good morning, Abia, your number one breakfast program on TV, coming to you live from our studio here in Abia University. Of course, before we went on the break, we're still taking a look at the papers, and of course, Stella Wando is still here with me. Stella, the president is saying, I didn't do this out of my own will or out of my own power. I was recommended. I was written to. And based on what the CCT said to me, talking about the Code Conduct of Tribunal, said to me, and that is what I carried out. And then people are saying that, no, you shouldn't have done that, Mr. President. Even despite the fact that the CCT has written to you, there are procedures. The section 292 or 290 said that, look, you need to consult the Senate. And of course, I'm going to read to you what the president said concerning the suspension of the CJ. And of course, it's coming from the New Telegraph. And it says, a short while ago, I was served with an order of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, CCT, issued on Wednesday, 23rd January 2019, directing the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Honorable Justice Walter Nkanu Samuel Onohe, from office pending his final determination of the case against him at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, and several orders for relating to his alleged breach of the Code of Conduct for public officers. The nation has been gripped by the tragic realities of no less a personality than the Chief Justice of Nigeria himself, becoming an accused person in a corruption trial since details of the petition against him by civil society organization first became public about a fortnight ago. All right, the president went further to say it was based on these, and one of the accusations was that the Chief Justice refused to declare its assets. And of course, some of the experts that came here on Saturday on the program said, if the CJ had come to say, I forgot that the law accepts it. And so some people are a bit confused to say your ignorance about some certain things in the law does not change the fact that those laws doesn't exist. And so it has been a topsy-turvy twist of stories. Some people is on the side of the president, and some are saying, no, Mr. President, you got it all wrong. And this is a slap to democracy. And of course, you know, the PDP has also quickly said, look, we will not campaign anymore. Campaign is over. Go home until the president reverses decision. And some are saying, how do you think the president, after saying his words, will reverse his decision? Stella, are you confused, or as confused as most Nigerians will feel? What's your take? What do you think? Do you think the Code of Conduct writing to the president to say you need to suspend Onoge was in the right direction?
It wasn't in the right direction, and of course a lot of people have also said, just like we said, that some are on the side of the president, while some have also faulted the suspension. But I want to tell you here that now the people that have actually been on the side of the president are few, while the majority have also faulted the suspension.
Have you been counting them?
Not actually.
How did you
majority of Nigerians are not actually on the side of the president. And of course,
it's funny when you say sometimes some of this stuff it's well.
But like just like if someone the Senate has summoned an emergency section, and of course to be held tomorrow, and of course and some of the things that will be done. Judicial Council meets tomorrow also to deliberate on this. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. And a lot of people have also said that it's a debt to democracy. So let's see how it turns out to be.
Of course,
if the president will actually
and of course, just to bring you up to speed, that the CJN suspension is causing a lot of ripples. Yeah. And of course, the NJC will be meeting tomorrow to take a final decision. And believe me, Nigeria is watching and hoping to know what will be the decision. And of course, if you ask me, a lot of senior advocates of Nigeria has reacted. And I'm talking about Femi Falana. Femi Falana came up and said, look, despite the fact that the president got it all wrong, but then if the CJN, talking about Onoge, the former CJN, has been suspended, he needs to get out as a sitting member. Well, we'll be discussing these, and it will also gladden your heart, gladden our heart, if you also can be part of it. We have 2 or 3 legal practitioners coming here: Barrister Emperor Obona, and a woman rights activist Uche Emeko, the sniffer they call him, and also Barrister Ubabio. We want you to also get your questions ready, because the 3 gentlemen here will be doing we'll be doing justice to your question. And you want to keep a time and a day with us on the discussion segment. All right, you can also be part of this by calling the numbers on your TV screen by calling 081-7745-7728. That is the number to call. You can also send us text messages if you can get through. Stella.
IG retires 7 DIGs.
IG. And Tammuz began to spill fire. And this morning they say, look. You guys have served this country diligently. You guys have done what you're supposed to do, but it is time for you to bow. Take a bow. And now we have our first caller on the line. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we lost that. Please call us, tell us your name and where you're calling from, and of course, it's just any of the paper that catches your fancy. Feel free to tell us this morning. And of course, also put that at the back of your mind when you call the water marble this morning. Say, keep smiling. I can see Stella by the side smiling. Right? Well, the issue this morning is not a smiling one, if you ask me. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Reduce the volume of the television set.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the program. Can you tell us your name and where are you calling us from? Hello? All right, we lost that.
Call.
So, Stella?
I'm talking about the headline that we just read out this morning. It is, according to the Nation newspaper, the retired DIGs Adamu Senior served with former IG Ibrahim Idris.
Well, he thinks he needs those that knows him very well to get out, so he won't default. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Hello. Good morning, we can hear you.
Good morning.
We can hear you, sir. All right, we lost that call. Please call us and tell us what's your opinion on any of the paper. And also, the topic we'll be looking to this morning is the suspension of the former CJN of Nigeria. Of course, the president is saying, I never took that decision on my own. I acted based on what the code of conduct, talking about those in charge that knows the law, I was written to and I was told to suspend the CJ. And it is based on that I actually took my advice and what I did from. Well, it's those that knows the law should be able to interpret the law. Hello? Hello? But Stella, come to think of it, the law is there. It is written in black and white. And so why is it difficult to understand that people see different reasons? I mean, if I say Jesus is Lord, for example, it is a one word. Why is the understanding different? Because the law is there, and you're talking about some senior advocates still having problems with having the same direction, the same interpretation of what the law says. Isn't that when they go to law school, they don't find a common ground to talk about what the law says? You know, it's confusing because the lawyers were here yesterday, on Saturday, I beg your pardon, and they tried to put what the law says. And surprising, I took time to do research, and I discovered the section of the law that says, look, this is what the law says concerning suspension. But funny enough, I've also read Sagi, which is one of the senior advocates of Nigeria, and say, look, the president did the right thing. Once you fail to do some certain things, and the Code of Conduct Tribunal sends his listing to the president has to act upon it. All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Yes, Deji, you were here on Saturday with us, and we're still talking about the same topic.
I'm after Chief Justice of the Federation.
Yes, go ahead.
So, the removal of the Chief Judge is not apparent in line. That is a conspiracy which can amount of impeaching the president. Now, just to be very clear, whether he says anything in
thank you, Dede SAG, and of course, let's tell you that if you stay tuned to the program, those that will be talking to us this morning will have the opportunity to tell you what the law says concerning the suspension of the CJ. And Stella, I will want to read this to you. It says Section 292 of the Nigerian Constitution deals with the removal of some public officials, including the CJ. The section does not distinguish temporary removal or suspension from a permanent removal or sack. And it says if you also need to do that, 2/3, in other words, a sitting justice cannot only be removed from office by the president after at least 2/3 of the majority of the Senate support such move. So such matter must be debated in the Senate. That is what the law says.
And that is what a lot of people have also said. That
And
the
now,
president should have followed due process.
The question is, what happens to Section 292?
Which
states that, I'll read that for you for clarification.
Yeah.
Even though we're not lawyers. But I'll read that so you don't get out of context.
Yeah.
And it says the Section 292 of the Nigerian Constitution deals with the removal of some public officials, including the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The section does not distinguish a temporary removal, suspension, from a permanent removal or sack. He went further to say, in conclusion, in all the words, a sitting CJN can only be removed from office by the president after at least 2/3 of the majority members of the Senate supports that. End of quote. Stella, the president has the power to remove the Chief Justice of the Federation, says the Constitution, Section 292. We didn't say that. The Constitution pointed out. But says the clause is that the president must do that with 2/3 of the majority of the Senate. Let's see who the next caller is. Hello? Hello? All right.
Good morning.
We lost that, Stella. Stella, 2/3 of the House must agree to say, Mr. President, we think you're right. The man should have declared his asset. He didn't do that when he was in the Court of Appeal. He didn't do that when he was called into the Supreme Court. He didn't do that when he was heading the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He should have known better to know that ignorance of the law does not save you from any of these. But people are saying their process, their procedure, you should have followed that process, Mr. President. And some are saying, Mr. President, do the right thing, taking what he was advised to do. And of course, a lot of Nigerians are also reacting and saying, the Vice President is not out of the hook. He knows the law. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. And if you remember vividly, when the word popped up to say that the CJ is going to face the code of conduct, and of course, the Vice President said, I can assure you, quote, that the President is not aware of the CJN facing in the trial. And Nigerians are saying, what is happening to the Vice President? Is it that the Vice President is no longer in the picture? All right, all this is going to form a part of the discussion for this morning. As soon as our guest comes in, they'll be to tell us. But let's take a look at who is on the line with us.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Speak up so that we can hear you. Speak up so that we can hear you, sir.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, this is Philip calling from Abia, Port Harcourt Road.
All right, Mr. Philip. Is there anything you want to tell us? Hello? All right, sorry, we've lost that. We'll go for a break, and so the technical department could actually take a look at why the calls are not holding on. Let's go for a break. When we come back, Styler and I will be here. And of course, we'll still be taking a look at the newspaper review. Please do stay with us.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Another political season is here.
The storm of partisan politics has thrown up numerous candidates.
Who can best represent the people?
Abia Media Roundtable presents Political Debates 2019 for governorship and National Assembly candidates.
Let the best candidates emerge through fair debates on relevant issues. Abia Media Roundtable.
Fairness and integrity.
2019 Abia Political Debates.
Date 4th February for National Assembly candidates, 21st February for governorship candidates. Venue Bines Hotel, Herbert Macaulay Hall, Aba. For more information, call 080-5483-3026, 080-3669-3622, or 080-3300-3566. This program is proudly brought to you by ActTV, BCA, Boss FM, Flow FM, Magic FM, MCLtv, NTA Channel 6 Aba, PBS, Pacesetter FM, Love FM, Vision Africa, and Ibere Online TV.
non-stop breakfast show on TV.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say, what did man go do for this world where people no go talk? If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, then go talk. What did make we do for this world? I say, make we dey do the things where we carry for heart. Now so world want that. I be not been so.
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCLtv.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Guy, you know that yellow papa wey dey our street where we're so?
Wait, which one? That one where they trip for me? Now my babe now.
Free me, Joe. If you no get money, hide your face. I hide my face.
Come, now me you talk like that. Guy, I be big boy. You see this TV so? You know how much I buy am? 200k, see this one. You wear poor like don't show the market rat.
True, now me they call market rat. See all those Gucci and Pate where hush puppy they show for Instagram so. Now me buy am for am.
Guy, you know e-money? E-money na my boy. Money where you dey spray, now me give am.
See this one oh, you know that Linda Cage house for Banana Island? Now me dash her.
That one a house? Maybe you know OBO Davido. That 30 billion where dey your account. Now me borrow am.
Forget it. You see that snake where swallow jam money? Now me send am. Now CBN they go next.
Tuale Baba. Ah hello, Tuale. Where you dey?
True. Bros, it is how they like. He dey my back. Hey, what's in this?
Oh yes, you can now purchase MCL decoder and also pay for your subscription at our corporate office located at number 9B Obibo Street opposite Keystone Bank, or MCL outlets located at number 203 Fox Road opposite Heritage Bank by Samek Junction, Aba. For those in Umuahia, you can go to number 80 Abba Road, Umuahia, opposite Golden Guinea Breweries, or our accredited sales agents, Abarusia Holdings, Zone 18, Shop C, LQA4, Shopping Center, Abba. Best Choice Electronics, Zone 16, ET65 Up, behind Eco Bank, Enhi Road Branch, Abba Shopping Center. Symphone Investment Nigeria Limited, Zone 12, AS28, Shopping Center, Abba. Ever Blessed Yahweh Electronics, 156 Ekote Mene Road, Abba. Matiko Communication, number 93 Hospital Road, opposite Amausa, Abba. Wanchuku Investment, 43 St. Michael's Road, Abba. Nwokocha Electronics, number 300 Port Harcourt Road, inside Orie Ohapiam Electronics Market. Obuka JJ Communication, line 26, B47 Ngwa Road Market, Okorocha Shopping Plaza, number 4 Ibere Street. OK Tech, number 3 Nwala Street, opposite BTC, Aba. Orbit Communications, number 2 Pand Road, Aba. For payment of subscription only, you can visit our accredited agents, Best Choice Electronics, Zone 16, ET65 Up, behind Eco Bank, Enhi Road Branch, Abba Shopping Center. Ever Blessed Yahweh Electronics, number 156 Ekote Mene Road, Abba. Matiko Communication, number 93 Hospital Road, opposite Amausa, Abba. Nwokocha Electronics, number 300 Port Harcourt Road, inside Orie Ohapiam Electronics Market. Chris Bank Communication, 232 Orata Road by Express, Abba. Branch Office, number 560 Port Harcourt Road by Flyover, Abba. For inquiries, call our customer care on 070-3298-0089. MCLtv, the world in your home.
Another political season is here.
The storm of partisan politics has thrown up numerous candidates.
Who can best represent the people?
Abia Media Roundtable presents Political Debates 2019 for governorship and National Assembly candidates.
Let the best candidates emerge through fair debates on relevant issues. Abia Media Roundtable.
Fairness and integrity.
2019 Abia Political Debates.
Date: 4th February for National Assembly candidates, 21st February for governorship candidates. Venue: Bines Hotel, Herbert Macaulay Hall, Aba. For more information, call 080-5483-3026, 080-3669-3622, or 080-3300-3566. This program is proudly brought to you by ActTV, BCA, Boss FM, Flow FM, Magic FM, MCLtv, NTA Channel 6 Aba, PBS, Pacesetter FM, Love FM, Vision Africa, and Ibere Online TV.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
You're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is still Good Morning Abia, your number one breakfast program on TV, coming to you live from our bar studio here in Abia State. And of course, it is time for us to talk. And this morning, we're taking a look at the suspension of the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, talking about Walter Onohe, by the president. And of course, it is a controversial suspension, as some people have tagged it that way, of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onohe, by the President Muhammadu Buhari, has continued to elicit mixed reactions. And removing Mr. Onohe, Mr. Buhari claimed he acted based on a Code of Conduct Tribunal order. And to discuss with us this morning is a human rights activist, Emeka Uche, the sniffer, they call him. Good morning. It's nice to have you on the breakfast program.
Thank you, and good morning, Abby.
Well, before we actually go to our discussion this morning, 19 days left. You and I and all the Nigerians will be heading to the polls. How ready do you think we are?
Well, the ANA chairman says he's ready, and but the signals coming out shows that he's not actually ready.
What are the signals?
Yeah, the signals, yes, he's not come out to step aside Zachary Amina. He's not come out to tell us the actual way they're going to do this thing, because I think there was one resident electoral commissioner who said that the results will be transmitted electronically And Yakubu Mohammed himself said no, that it will be done manually. So if there is a little misunderstanding within the organization, then how prepared are we? I don't think we are actually prepared for this election so as to reflect transparency and the confidence and the trust that this election, that is my own personal and candid opinion.
That is your personal opinion. But quickly, let's talk about what is keeping all Nigerians and even the world talking at the moment, talking about the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onhoye. But the question I want to ask you, when you heard this suspension, what went through your mind?
Yes, when I heard about that suspension, I think it was a Friday night around 7, when I was just going through, the internet and the newspapers. I think specifically on Daily Post, that was where I heard that thing. And I said, oh my God, let it not happen again. Because the quick action taken by the presidency, I've never seen it. Even, for the past 3.5 years, going to 4 years, I've never seen such a quick response to something of this nature. And then being on the eve of the Chief Justice, swearing in the 250 members of the Election Petition Tribunal, and then I said no. And when I was going through the report, the petition which the presidency acted upon was brought to them on Monday, and by Thursday everything was also ready. And willy-nilly in a jiffy, the Chief Justice has been suspended, even without giving him that opportunity to go through the routine. Because I know that it took this president 150 days to form his cabinet. It took a lot of pressure for him to step aside the SSG. It was a lot of pressure for, the DSS director to be confirmed, and also the present, the now suspended Chief Justice of the Federation. It took the movement of heaven for his appointment to be confirmed. So I said, why this hurry? And especially at the crucial time that you are about entering election, what is it that has elicited this kind of quick response, which I have never seen?
But if you talk about quick response, and if the president had come up to say, I didn't do this on my own, but I was asked to do this by the Code of Conduct Tribunal, do you think the president was too hasty to have reacted? People that knows the law, people that sits and also part of writing the law, and if the same people are saying, look, ignorance of the law doesn't mean that the law does not exist. That the Chief Justice of Nigeria has refused to declare his assets, and it also from a petition from the human rights activists. And so, do you think the president actually got it wrong?
Yes.
Based on the advice from the CCT?
It wasn't actually an advice. It was a kind of judicial pronouncement.
Exactly.
So it was wrong, because one of those things that should have happened was when this petition came in, I think it is in the it is within the jurisdiction of the presidency to have called this man, asked him, and then he will give his reply, and then the petition will also get back to NJC, National Judicial Council, who will now invite this man and then look at his response in writing, and then if they feel that he has gone wrong in that place, they will now recommend to the president for his, to be removed from office or to be suspended. And I think the president will also transmit this to the National Assembly, who will now look at the case, debate on it, and then do a vote, not a voice vote this time, but a vote that will be recorded, signaled correctly, and then if they have to third majority And then this thing can happen. And then this man now can now go to court. You see, there is one thing. Like the other day when I started, I said, even a recruit in the army, you cannot take him to court direct if he has committed any offense.
There's a military.
There will be a military court-martialing of that person, and then you remove his decision, because what you are looking at is the sanctity of that office, the respect of that office, the constitutionality of what you have done. No matter how you feel within yourself that you really want to act fast, you want to do this or that. And also, I want to say, paraphrase John Madison's, quote on this thing. He says that when a government wants to become dictatorial, they will, first of all, assume the position of fighting crime. Yeah. I'm just for so
1875 to 1877.
In the bid of fighting corruption or crime, as the case may be, you will now believe that you are now God. You are Zeus. You are standing in the Olympic hat.
Okay.
Every other person.
Let's see some of the reaction right there. Some of the reactions of the people that have reacted to the presidency, and of course, even the Senate President Bukola Saraki also spoke on this. Is that our Constitution makes no provision for suspension of the nation's highest judicial officer. Buhari has sent a dangerous signal to the entire world that Nigeria is no longer a democratic nation, and we have returned to the old, trying to figure out that the old jade era of military dictatorship. What do you make out of that?
Yes,
talking about Bukola Saraki, say it is wrong. The president has no right to do that.
Of course. The Constitution is there. At least Section 292 says something concerning this matter, the procedure and the process of the removal of a Chief Justice of the Federation.
Well, since you mentioned Section 292, go ahead. I will read that to you.
And
go ahead.
I would also want you to know that under the principles of separation of power, that this is an unnecessary, is a noisome interference in the activities of the the judiciary, because actually the judiciary is like a clearinghouse. It is like a house where people go to be cleaned, where any pronouncement from there will make this thing. And so when you begin to run that, when you want to muzzle that place, when you want to show that you are the executive, it doesn't augur well for any, a democracy at all. Every other section should be on its own, so that you take things the way they come. You still have the power after every other pronouncement has been made, every other declaration, every other court order. You can now go ahead and execute such order.
Okay, let me tell you what Section 292 of the Nigerian Constitution says. It says, with the removal of public officials, including the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the section does not distinguish temporary removal, suspension in brackets, from a permanent removal or sack. And he went further, the law went further to talk about, in the case of Chief Justice of Nigeria, President of the Court of Appeal, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, the Grand Cadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and President, Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The President acting address supported by 2/3 of the majority of the Senate. It went further by giving the suggestion. It says that the president, if the president needs to take this procedure, in other words, a CJN can only, I'd like you to hold on to that, the CJN can only be removed from office by the president after at least 2/3 of the majority from the Senate support such moves. And so such matter must be debated in the Senate. End of quote. 2/3 of the House. Do you think the president acted without due consultation, because the law says the president, has the right to do that, but must be done with the 2/3 of the House. And do you think the president would have said, well, if I have given these to the Senate, maybe the Senate would have acted? Is that a good way to?
It's not a good way. That would be, that would be presumption, because he is not. He is not in the Senate. He doesn't know their mood, unless himself has also done an underground job where he believes maybe because of his antecedent that these people are not going to cooperate. Even then, he should not have done that. You see, my worries about this thing is that the vice president is a senior advocate, and you have Malami, who is also a senior advocate. Remember, there is a petition against Malami saying that he is not advising the president. He's not giving him the correct advice, and that he should be stripped of his SANship, which he has also defended. He said that the president has always acted on his own, and not because he has failed to do his duties. That was the response I read about 2 weeks ago. And then you have Fashola there, and also you have in the Ministry of...
What happens to the vice president? The vice president is a senior advocate.
Yes, and a professor, and also, a pastor. Which means he has...
Well, let's leave it.
Why do you don't have to leave it is that he's a representative of the spiritual world to us. He's also a representative of the temporal world to us, terrestrial world to us. And so, because he has this thing, he has also the input. He also needs to kneel down and say, God, you are the chief judge. Advise me on what to do. What do I say? So, when you remove... You see, as I am now, if you are describing me, you will describe my physical being, and also will describe what I have. And what you use in judging me is also the kind of nomenclature I've given to myself. If I tell you that I am a lawyer and I speak, you say, I bet you are not speaking like a lawyer. If I tell you that I'm a priest and I do certain things, you say, no, you will take offense at that. And that is why the totality of the man is the spirit, the soul, and the body. So you cannot remove this. And if you go ahead and say, you are a representative of God here, I have order of God to say something, we will also use that to judge you. Yes.
Okay, the vice president, Sibajo, came up and said, when these popped up and was hitting the top, he came up to say that the president is not aware of the CJN standing trial by the CCT. And now that it is obvious, the vice president is not talking. Do you think he's taking his time to also take a look at what the law says?
I don't think he's doing anything. The only thing is that when a man, like I said some time ago, when a man, allows himself to be overwhelmed by circumstances or by the office he is occupying, this is the kind of response you continue to get. Well, if he's taking his time, why didn't he take his time the first time before saying that the president is not aware of this thing? Why did he speak hastily? You see, the only thing is that when situations like this arise, you truly know who the people who are, fit for the office they occupy. Be you, a political, be you a politician, be you a scholar, be you an intellectual. It is one thing that demands your informed response comes and you begin to respond the other way. Then we know that there is also something wrong, because the position you have taken is a position of confidence, it's a position of trust. And so I believe that somehow, somewhere, somebody was thinking that, well, if I say this, that will be the end of the matter, not knowing that Nigerians are not ready to take certain things, because we really fought hard for this democracy. And of course, if we allow our president to do so many things that he has continued to do, there is no how we will not enter into a situation where we have ourselves. And remember, I don't know whether you know, you have the story of Emperor Augustus, the man that succeeded Julius Caesar, the man that fought with Mark Antony, to defeat Brutus, and then he took over. When he took over, it began like a joke. and until he begins to do certain things. And because he remained unchecked, he started killing even scholars and intellectuals. For example, he killed Cicero, whom the world has acknowledged as one of the topmost philosophers of our time. And so when this type of thing begins to happen, we need to rise up and say, no, yes, we are not saying that the Chief Justice of Nigeria is a righteous man. We are not saying he's not a thief or a criminal or that he's a contractor or whatever. But we are saying take the due process so that it will not only be seen that, it will not only be acknowledged that justice has been dispensed, but also seen. And even you yourself that has acted will have to have a space in the Hall of Fame of, statesmen who try to do what God has also asked them to do. You see, that is why some of the time when these things happen, some of us will not keep quiet, especially those of us in the human rights community, no matter whose earth is God. We come out to say, because when you keep quiet today, the same thing will consume you tomorrow. When the Southeast, when every other person was shouting, no, this way this man is going is not the way. 97 against 5%, I don't know the kind of mathematics that is, and yet you still want us to vote for you, and you will not bring us on board to also, run an inclusive government. And every other person was saying, no, he's an Igbo man, let him go. All he knows is about commercialization of transactions or whatever. But today, the thing is going in, and everybody is beginning to make this thing. In fact, for me, I believe that Buhari, in fact, honestly, I believe that Buhari is the kind of leader Nigeria needs to wake us up from our stupid slumber. That is the way I look at it.
Okay, waking us up from our sleeping slumber, that was coming from Uche Emeku, a woman rights activist. Okay, you can also be part of this program by calling the numbers on your TV screen and tell us your opinion. We're taking a look at the suspension of the CJA, talking about Honore by the president, and of course, Uche Emeku is our guest on this topic. Let's take a look at the new appointed CJA, the acting new Chief Justice of Nigeria, talking about Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed. Of course, he has been sworn in immediately, and there seems to be a lot of Nigerians reacting that he shouldn't have taken the post. Do you think Tanko did right to, talking about to his colleagues for taking up that assignment? Or he that knows the law also should have stood his ground to say, Mr. President, sincerely, I appreciate that I'm the most senior member after Honore, but it is not right for you to take up such decision. Do you think he also did the right in accepting that?
No, I believe this is the highest level of desperation of a man. You see, that is to me.
And someone also linked it up with the Abia State suspension.
Yes, I am also going to come into that. You see, when you know you are working or you're a servant or you're a priest in the temple of justice, when things begin to go wrong, you need to stand your grounds. When things are not done the right way, you need to say, no, do not do it this way. Because when you do it this way, it wouldn't send a good signal. Let us take the path of sanity. Let us...
Okay, just hang on, Mr. Emeku. We have a caller. Hello, good morning, sir. You're welcome to the program. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Comrade.
Okay, comrade, go ahead.
Yeah, the removal of the teacher is uncalled for.
Why do you think it was uncalled for? Why do you think it was uncalled for?
Why kind of this dichotomy in this teacher? There must be a rule of law. The three arms of government must be there. And because it's usually to create somebody even if he committed anything offense, there must be the rule of law. Without the rule of law, we have negligent process. What is saying? The president is saying is not different. He doesn't aware, he's just aware of what is going on with the president of the river of this man. So he does not mean that he don't have what concrete administrative
you heard comment spilling fire this morning saying, look, Mr. President, the option for peace is please bring back honor. But let us also take a look at the... Okay, let's hang on. Let's see what the caller is. Hello? 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 Please, can you reduce the volume of your TV set? Sorry? Can you reduce the volume of your TV set? All right, thank you very much.
Sorry, I have a comment.
Please do. Sorry, please, if you must call us, please reduce the volume of the TV set. Or better still, walk far away from your TV set so we can hear you, and also those that are watching on the program can hear what you have to offer. All right, Sir Uche Emeku, we're talking about the current acting CJN. Do you think it was proper for him to have taken the position, knowing fully what the law says, even though by right he is the most senior person? Do you think he acted too quick to accept?
Yes, that's what I said. He acted too quick because, with this type of situation, you can now see the level of desperation. He has always wanted. He has shown that he's a very ambitious man. And I don't think that this is good for our
Is it a crime to be ambitious?
Yeah, you see, there are a certain level of ambition that you take that is a crime. When you take an ambition, I think if you had read this thing, Macbeth, you see the way Macbeth was, because he was so ambitious, he was desperate, he was willing to spill blood just to ensure that he perpetuates himself in office and, of course, his family. In fact, that is what also happened some place in Rome. Such a thing happens. In fact, the popes of those days will always be very ambitious and will always use means that is not proper to get to this thing. That is where your ambition is not, is not right. And so when he was appointed, what he should have said is, sorry, Mr. President, let us do it this way. And also remember, the CCT that he was referring to, haven't gotten his this thing from there, is a court of inferior jurisdiction. In fact, when you look at our constitution, you don't see tribunals there mentioned. But what you will see is the regular courts. And these tribunals are set up in order to hasten and to fasten, judicial dispensation, or for the quick dispensation of cases, which will also get back to the Court of Appeal. And now the Court of Appeal has also given an order. Why do you jettison that of the Court of Appeal to take that of CCT and then acted on it? And in fact, the information filtering from legal luminaries shows that even the ex parte motion that the president relied upon wasn't signed by any person. The petition they took there and with which these people acted upon. He said that there was no signal. And a lot of people have also been saying things. And so the chief judge, the acting chief judge, should not have, because when a dog watches another dog being killed, will also know that one day it will also be his own turn. And who will protect you on that day? And even when he was swearing in the 250 members of the election petition tribunal, it was only one other judge that sat with him. Whereas in the past, you have a full house of the judges. That tells you that these people also have voted with their legs. They said, no, this is not the correct thing to do. Our president is a human being. You give it to him that he might also make a mistake along the line. But it is in the, it is in the position, it is in the jurisdiction of the acting chief judge to have told him, say, please, Mr. President, let us do it this way, so that this thing doesn't elicit negative response from the public.
All right. Just to quickly react to what you said, that it wasn't signed. Well, from all indication, from information on papers, and also from the presidency, it was signed by the head of that tribunal. But quickly, I am trying to get 3 unanswered questions, and I need you to put your voice on that. The first question is, the Code of Conduct Tribunal wrote to the president to take up this decision. Now that it has been faulted by some people or some persons that knows the law, what happens to those that made that recommendation? Should they be spared for not leading the president, knowing fully that they know what the law says and what the Constitution says? Should they also be part of the people that needs to be investigated and brought to book?
Of course, yes. Like in the case of Abia State, where a judge was appointed ahead of even his seniors, because there is a little similarity in that case. Because, in fact, there is similarity because the proper procedure, the proper thing was not done. You see, at the end of the day, the man was forcefully, given a grace of retiring him. Otherwise, I believe that it should have been an outright dismissal. Because this is, I know the legal practitioner has a lot of respect for their senior. You dare not go ahead of your senior in certain things without giving proper explanation or even apologies as to why you did such things. So, for now, I believe that charge should rest. When the president, first of all he needs to do is to, rescind that decision, allow Onoye to come in, and also for Onoye to resign honorably, yes. And for now, NJC to take up that matter. Because and after which, the judiciary will now begin to look at those who played certain parts. Because, you can't rule out the fact that somebody in the judiciary is also a fifth columnist. You can see those things coming in right now. You see, if it were in America, because sometimes when we call America, because it is their own type of democracy that we are running. And so you see that even the president, look at the kind of, heat he is getting from institutions around him. But here.
For time's sake, Emeka, before I'll let you go so we can take the other segment, let's quickly talk about what the law says. Lawyers, you will hear lawyers say, but let's see who is on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Dede Ezeji.
Again.
Please go ahead.
That they don't know the law. They know the law. They are acting that they hold the country. No other person owns the country than them. That is why they are acting on this line. They hold the country. That is their assumption. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dede. You heard him?
Yes.
I believe that some certain persons believe that this country belongs to them, and whatever they do should be accepted by Nigerians. All right, that is what he feels. That's his opinion. But quickly, I was trying to ask a question. You would hear, I know you're married to a legal practitioner, and you would hear most lawyers say ignorance of the law does not justify whatever offenses you commit. It doesn't mean that the law does not exist.
Yes.
This is the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He knows the law, he knows the procedures. And he knows, as a public officer, that declaration of assets is one of such things that need to be done. And of course, since he took the post, and even when he was the judge of the Court of Appeal, from all indications, they said he has failed to declare his assets. Does that justify Onoye from being suspended by the president? We've seen most Nigerians have faulted the president. Let's also talk about the man in question. He refused, or he claimed and said, I forgot to do that. Does that justify Onoye from this whole act?
Well, it doesn't justify him in any way at all.
And if the man in question is fighting corruption,
yes,
and he's saying, you should have done that, but you didn't do that.
Yes, I am not justifying Onoye. I'm not justifying him in any means. What I am trying to look at is the process and the procedure of this. Let me tell you, Onoye, from what I gathered from behind the back, to those who are very close to him, he's a strict man of the letters. If there is a judgment that Onoye is about to give, to deliver. And it appears, because he has, well, let me not just go through personal now, but I know that he should also test what he gives to others. That is the area I'll look at it. But then what we are saying, for the sake of sanity, for the sake of rule of law, for the sake of good conscience, he should be made to pass through the crucibles of the law like he makes others to go through.
Okay.
You see, I mean, I'm not justifying it.
I understand that. So you
yes.
believe that,
yes.
well, despite the fact the president has acted wrongly, that you believe, just hang on, Chiemela, you believe that, that...
I had the question you answered. Immediately you admit that you made a mistake. Immediately you admit that is the end of the case.
Yes.
In DTV writes you, and you admit, look, I forgot this, I made a mistake, I forgot this. That is the end of the case. It is when you tell you didn't make a mistake, that is when you tell them what they make it to DTV. That's why I said that there is politics in the whole scenario, or in the whole thing, but it's not going to explain out. Even if you take that man wrote DTV and say, yeah, I made a mistake, I forgot this and that, that's the end of that.
Okay.
So whatever is going is politics, believe you me.
All right, thank you, Chiemela. But I know you can hear me right now, Chiemela. Yes, we have legal practitioner that was there on Saturday, and they said that the law accepts it to say that, look, once you say, I forgot, it is accepted because already you have already agreed that such things should be done. But we're saying, is that, knowing that you ought to do, as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, why should he forget, or why should he forget the most important trigger part that the first thing he needs to do is declaration of assets?
Look at the thing.
Does that common word, I forgot, justify or not get forgotten?
No, it doesn't, because when you get to court and you're asked, are you guilty or not guilty? And you said, I am guilty with a reason. I'm guilty with a reason. Which means you want to explain, but already you have said you are guilty, you have agreed. Now, in the case of Onagi, he had been declaring his assets. The only thing is that when
all right,
also...
I guess Chiemela is calling back again. Just hang on. Chiemela.
In any society, what guy society is rule of law. And immediately you live rule of law, let's go into morality. You have double justice. If you catch a criminal, you catch somebody today, stealing your property, the law is that you take the person to the police. It's not your purview to burn the person alive. The law says, taking or you invite the police, if the person is a criminal, why would you be sent to jail immediately? But you take him to court. The law says, if you say yes, there is no morality. There is law, there is morality, yes. But what I'm saying, the law says, it is not what to think. Because if you don't invest your morality, they will not be here, they will not put us everywhere. So the law says, you make a man that thinks, I made a mistake, I forgot. You're not giving another cop to feel.
All right.
After giving that promise, and still make the same mistake, that is not what you're taking to CCC. That is that, we are not of the law, we're not the kind of morality.
All right.
That is the issue. There is a difference between morality and law. So if the law says that, you obey the law, don't go to moral. If you want to go to moral, you have to be taken to Catholic court or Methodist or Anglican court and try it there.
All right, thank you very much, Chiemela. Thank you. And very soon we'll be unfacing the marks of Chiemela by inviting you to come on the program to also tell us your opinion. All right, quickly, 60 seconds you have, and so we can go to the next segment. Where does this leave the Nigerian with talking about our reactions? Where does this leave us?
Yeah, where it leaves us is that we're a country that is sleepwalking, or we're a country that doesn't know the way we're going to. Maybe we're just driving in the darkness, turning round and round, and only when the day comes, breaks, we see that we have not actually made any move, that we are just in a roundabout, we're in a quagmire. So I believe that what we need to do at this particular time is to listen to what the United States, the European Union, and the UK what they have told us. We need to understand that there are greater stakes ahead, and these greater stakes ahead is the election that is coming on, so that after the election, nobody will unnecessarily go into hiding.
All right, thank you. No person will go into hiding, coming from Chief Emeku. And of course, he is a women rights activist. And of course, that was his opinion on the program this morning. We go for a break, and when we come back, it will be time for us to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports with Jonah Oje. Please to stay with us.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Good morning, and it's a beautiful Monday morning, and it's time to talk about sports. And I know that you really enjoyed your weekend. Because we had some sporting activities that actually took place the weekend across different centers in Europe and of course here in the country. All right, we want to start with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You know that it is no longer news that they have qualified for the 2019 African Cup of Nations, and the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Ganatra, is not leaving any stone unturned to make sure that the Super Eagles of Nigeria gives the country what they are actually expecting from that particular encounter, that is competition during the 2019 AFCON. And just yesterday, Ra actually said that he will build a team that will be able to give Nigerians that quality representation during the 2019 African Cup of Nations. He actually said that he will continue to tour Europe to make sure that he incorporates new names into the Super Eagles squad, and also make sure that he gives them various opportunities to give or to showcase their talent. That will also make it possible for them to be included in that jet that will be traveling to Egypt, the venue of the African Cup of Nations 2019. He said that, that the team is still work in progress, that the new faces will be invited together with the old faces. They will have to train together, and he actually restated his earlier stance that no player will have an automatic shirt in the Super Eagles full, that only those that gives their worth, only those that actually impress him will be traveling to the African Cup of Nations in 2019. All right, away from that, now we go over to the Nigeria Professional Football League that actually took place in various centers at the weekend. You know, it is an abridged league this season, so we have Group A and also Group B of the Nigeria Professional Football League fixtures. In Group A, Rangers defeated Enyimba by 1-0. The defending champions of the Nigerian Professional Football League, that is Lobby Stars, we are 3 goals better than Kwara United. Niger Tornadoes played out a barren draw with Bendel Insurance. Remo Stars recorded a 2-0 victory over Katsina United. Rivers United defeated Mountain of Ministries FC by 1-0. Wiki Tourists at home, it was a different sound for them as they lost at 0-1 to Sunshine Stars. This is how it happened in the Group A fixtures of the Nigeria Professional Football League. Then in Group B, Abia Warriors there in Omahia had to settle for a barren draw with Gombe United. Kada City at home lost 0-1 to Ifeanyoba FC. Plateau United, they had to settle for a barren draw with Kano Pillars, while Yobe Desert Stars were 1 goal better than Heartland Football Club of Owerri. This is how it happened in the Nigeria Professional Football League that actually took place at the weekend. And for those who were able to grab their 3 maximum points, say congratulations. But for those who could not make it, subsequently you make sure that you give your best to actually come back stronger. All right, let us now go over to the English FA Cup that actually took place at the weekend, where Crystal Palace defeated Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0 to make sure that they edged out the White Lilies out of the this season's FA Cup. Chelsea defeated Sheffield Wednesday by 3-0, and in that game, their new acquisition, that is Gonzalo Higuain, made his debut in that game, but he could not score in that particular game to announce his arrival. At St. James's Park, it was a different thing for them. For Newcastle, as they lost at 0-2 to Watford. Millwall surprised Everton, beating them 3-2. Wimbledon defeated West Ham by 4-2. Manchester City, it was an enjoyment for them, a day to celebrate as they defeated Burnley by 5-0. While Middlesbrough, that has the likes of Nigerian captain John Mikel Obi, had to settle for a 1-1 draw at home with Newport County. This is how it happened in the English FA Cup matches that actually took place at the weekend. And with that, I call it quits on this segment. I hand you over to Michael Offren.
All right, Jonah, it would have been a lot of questions to add, but for time's sake, this is where we'll be drawing the curtains on today's program. Hopefully, we'll be here tomorrow, and of course, it's still what the Nigerian Judicial Council, what the NJC will give, will be our discussion. And we'll ask you please to stay with us tomorrow while we bring you the other segment of this program. All right, this is how far we go. Stand next is Unasalachi Umabia. Please do stay with us.
MCL, the word in your home.